Hello, good morning, happy Friday. Today I wanted to go ahead and jump into some of the nitty gritty, like a how-to, a starting point. I will probably talk about everything that I kind of think we need to be more natural, more organic with makeup, laundry care, house cleaning, clothes, fabrics that you put on your body, stuff like that, storage containers. Things that we need to try and really focus on in our world where everything is so plasticky and chemically. But today I want to start with food because ultimately it starts from the inside out. You need to begin with food, your diet. And I don't mean the how to lose weight diet, your diet, what you consume is the most important thing, bar none. There's a bunch of different information out there. I want to talk about the what to avoid list when it comes to autoimmunes. Any autoimmune. I have MS, my daughter has ulcerative colitis. This is kind of where we try to go for both of us, and this for me is where I have found the most success. Okay, so I'm going to rattle off a list. I will also post that list in the comments, so you don't need to take notes super fast. I used to say there were 7 things to avoid. I've kind of added to that list and changed it a little bit. So the original 7 included caffeine and soy. I've found over the years I don't have a problem with caffeine, providing it's in moderation. I mean, if the only thing you drink all day is coffee, that's going to be a problem. But that's going to be a problem for anybody, whether they have a health concern or not. Soy is the other one. Don't decide you're vegan and then replace every meal with soy. That's too much. And try to get the least processed soy. I love Trader Joe's has an organic sprouted tofu. I'll eat that. Edamame, soybeans. I eat those. I don't drink a lot of soy milk. I'm not going to say never because sometimes that's the best choice for me where I'm at, but rarely, very rarely. So I don't put those on the don't list. Just keep it in moderation. Same thing with corn. Buy blue corn tortillas. You're looking for the non-GMO, so least processed. So now the list, the to avoid list, gluten. Gluten is number 1. If you have an autoimmune illness of any sort, you should be avoiding gluten. I also have celiac, so I avoid it, even cross-contamination. I have to really be careful. It makes me incredibly sick. But for most people, it causes inflammation. Inflammation is the bane of all autoimmunes. So number 1, gluten. And if you've never removed it, try removing it from your diet for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, preferably 8 weeks, but at least give it 2 or 3 and then eat it and get like a bagel, something really heavy gluten-y, and see how it is. If you don't react, then gluten may not be a factor for you, although I'd still recommend like a sprouted grain bread, like Ezekiel bread or something that's less processed, because that's also on this list. Number 2 is dairy. You do not have to never drink dairy in your life. Keep it in moderation. I was vegan for a lot of years, and personally, I have found that this is going to be so long. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, hang in there with me. I'll be faster. I have found that using good grass-fed organic dairy is better than the processed vegan alternative for me. I like to read butter and see that it has like 2 ingredients, salt and cream. That's butter. That's what you should be using. Once you get much beyond that and you have a list of like 40 ingredients and you can't pronounce half of them, I would rather have real dairy than the processed alternative to stay vegan. So gluten, dairy, processed foods, that's number 3 on the list, and it is a big one. Avoid all processed foods if you can, as much as you possibly can. It's not possible in our society, but do your very, very best. Alcohol is another one. I haven't had any alcohol in 12 years. For me, it was a very easy give up because I reacted horribly. I had a glass of wine with dinner, walked home from a neighbor's house totally fine, went to sleep, woke about 6 o'clock in the morning, drunk with vertigo. So I don't process it well. It was an easy give up. Sugar, that one's hard. We should all avoid sugar. Everyone should avoid sugar, especially processed sugar. That doesn't mean carbs. Eat fruits. Dates are a great sweetener. Honey. Agave, I tend to be a little iffy on because it's really high glycemic load for your body, so it's hard to process. Maple syrup, so it doesn't mean you're never going to have a dessert or anything sweet again. Just try to avoid sugar. The same thing for artificial sweeteners. Everyone's like, oh, sure, I can use stevia or monk fruit or Sweet and Low, Splenda. There's a million of them out there. Don't. They're worse. Sugar is better than the artificial sweeteners. Just think in terms of anything whole foods, anything made in nature, something that your body can actually process. Red meat. This is not meat. This is red meat. It's harder for your body to digest. Again, we're looking at things that cause inflammation. Chicken, fish, turkey. You're probably okay. If you're not, you'll know in your body. But as a whole group, just some general guidelines, try to keep your red meat to an absolute minimum. Fried foods. This also includes anything greasy, so it doesn't have to be deep fried like an onion ring. But anything, I had a Thai meal the other day and I ordered it and it was so greasy I ended up not eating it because I knew it was just going to upset my system. So find the restaurants if you're going to eat out that have less oil in them. So anything really heavy and greasy, refined grains, you're going to want to immediately switch to gluten-free bread. Maybe it may be better, it may not. I try to keep breads to a minimum, not because of the carbs, but just because my body doesn't do well with them. That doesn't mean I never eat them. I had avocado toast this morning, so sometimes, but just small amounts. Keep it controlled as much as you can. Nightshade vegetables is the other one. Everyone immediately thinks a mushroom is a nightshade. It is not. You are looking for a specific class of vegetables that contain something called solanine. That's going to cause massive inflammation in most people with any sort of an autoimmune. Potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, these are all in the nightshade family. You can Google and find a whole comprehensive list of this. Okay, so then what do you eat? Whole foods, plant-based. That doesn't mean vegan, that doesn't mean vegetarian. That just means to eat mostly plant-based foods, but whole foods. Don't decide again that you're vegan and now you're going to go out and buy fake turkey and fake chicken and fake beef and think that that's actually a healthier choice. That's more processed. You're better off eating chicken. Again, you guys, this is just my opinion and what I have found over the years. And this is coming from someone who was strictly vegan for 7 years. And I found that I still do best largely plant-based, but if I'm going to eat butter, coffee creamers, try to avoid the chemical ones. You're actually better off with a little bit of half and half and some honey in your coffee. So, lots of choices, lots of options, but try and stay with the whole foods. Okay, I think that's it for today. Again, I'm going to type up this list and I'll stick it in the comments. Bye.